Graphical representation of data. Bar graph, histogram, frequency polygon. Graphical representation of data. The graphical representation of data is easier to understand than actual data. We will study the following graphical representation in this section. Bar graph, histograms of uniform width and of varying width, frequency polygons. Bar graph. Bar graph is a pictorial representation of data in which usually bars of uniform width are drawn with equal spacing between them on x-axis. The bar heights vary with the values of variables shown on y-axis. This graph representation data of 40 students and months of their birth. If we have to find out the number of students were born in the month of November, we can easily access from graph that 4 students were born in the month of November. Histogram. This is a form of representation like the bar graph, but it is used for continuous class intervals or say for groups and no spacing between two bars. This is the frequency distribution table representing the weight of 36 students of a class. Let us represent this data graphically. We represent weights on x-axis on a suitable scale, that is, 1 centimeter is equal to 5 kilogram. Since first class interval starting from 30.5 to 35.5 and not from 0, we show it by marking a kink or break on the x-axis. On y-axis, we represent number of students, that is, frequency. Since maximum frequency is 15, we choose a scale 1 centimeter is equal to 2 students and mark up to 16 on y-axis. Now for first class interval 30.5 to 35.5, number of students are 9. The middle line of 8 and 10 represents 9. Draw a bar up to that height for a class interval. Similar way, draw other bars for class intervals and respective frequencies. This result into graph appears like a solid figure. This is called a histogram. Frequency polygon. To understand frequency polygon, let us take a histogram of above example. Let us join the midpoints of the upper side of each bar by line and name midpoints B, C, D, E, F and G respectively. To complete the polygon, we assume that there is a class interval before first class interval and last class interval and mark midpoints for them as A and H. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is the frequency polygon for the data which was given for histogram 2. Frequency polygon can also be drawn independently without drawing histograms. For this, we require the midpoints of the class intervals used in data. These midpoints of the class intervals are called class marks. We can find class marks as class mark is equal to upper limit plus lower limit by 2. Let us draw frequency polygon for the table. In the table, class intervals of height are given for number of students. Since we want to draw a frequency polygon without a histogram, let us find the class mark for each class interval. Class mark for first class intervals is 150 plus 140 by 2 is equal to 145. Similar way, we can find class marks for other class interval of the table. Let us draw a frequency polygon by plotting the class marks along the x-axis and the frequencies along the y-axis. Mark point B for frequency 5 and class mark 145. Similar way, mark points C, D, E, F and G for each frequency and its class mark. Join the points by line segments. We should not forget to plot the point corresponding to the class mark of the class interval 130 to 140 and 200 to 210 on x-axis. So the resultant frequency polygon will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. We have seen mean is the division of sum of observations divided by number of observations. Mean is denoted by symbol x bar. Mathematically, mean is represented by summation of all xi for I is equal to 1 to n divided by n, where xi are observations from 1 to n and n is number of observations. Median. Median is the middlemost value of the observations. If n number of observations are taken and n is odd, the middlemost value will be into bracket n plus 1 by 2 observation. And if n is even, the middlemost value of the observations will be the mean of into bracket n by 2 and into another bracket n by 2 plus 1 observations. Summary. In this topic, we have seen types of graphical representation of data. We have seen bar graph, histogram, frequency polygon, and mean and median of data. So that is all in this topic. Maths is fun. So keep learning.